All right, guys, welcome back to my beginner series where we're going over pretty much a whole new starter edition of World of Warcraft. Um, Basically, I've played the game for many years, since 2005 or 2006, and I wanted to go back into the starter edition and see what kind of stuff is in the starter edition, and also maybe help out new people that are starting the game and wanting to choose stuff. So today we're going over the classes in the game. So first we're going to start with warrior. Warriors wear plate armor, and they carry axes, swords, maces, giant weapons. Either you can use one-handers in both hands or even two-handers in both hands, which is pretty much the way to go. And you can also do a sword and a shield if you are into tanking. So warriors basically have two specs that are damage dealing. You got arms, which you can carry a two-handed sword or two-handed weapon and just slash and hack and slash. They also have fury, which this guy is right here, where he's holding two-handed weapons and you can just go crazy just fighting. And then you got a tank, which is sword and shield. And a tank basically protects a group, and you take less damage, and you attract all the different enemies to fight you and keep your allies safe. Warriors are plate-wearing fighters who strive to perfection in armed combat. As warriors fight, they generate rage, which is used to power special attacks. So warriors, awesome class. They look cool. Pretty much every race can be a warrior. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, every race can be a warrior. So if you want to be a warrior, you have a lot of options of different races, and they're a really cool class. It's what I started with, and I feel like a lot of people start with warrior. They're cool. The only problem with warriors is you don't really heal that well. So yeah, that's that. All right, so the second one we have is a hunter. So hunters are pretty cool. You get a bow, you get arrows, and you get a pet. So hunters have three different specs that you can be. So they have marksmanship, which basically focuses on doing like long range sniping attacks, big huge damage with just your bow, and less of your pet damage basically. And then there's beast mastery, which more focuses on your pet doing a lot of damage, and you get not just your one pet, you get multiple pets if you want. There's other spells that you can cast where another one of your pets will come out and do something. So if you love having a pet, I would go beast mastery for sure. Now hunters also have a melee spec. So you basically, instead of a bow and arrow, you would have a pole arm, and you basically fight things up close, lay traps, throw bombs. It's pretty fun. That one's called survival. So hunters are at home in the wilderness and have a special affinity for beasts. They rely on weaponry and their pet to deal damage. Yeah, so that's basically it. Hunters wear mail armor. I think there's four different types of armor you can wear in this game: plate, mail, leather, and cloth. The next one we have is mages. Mages are the iconic magic users of Azeroth who learn their craft through intense research and study. They make up for their light armor with a potent array of offensive and defensive spells. Almost got through that without messing up. All right, so mages basically only deal long range damage. But they have three specs as well. So you get a fire mage, you get a frost mage, and an arcane mage. Pretty much self-explanatory. Like, if you're a fire mage, you do a bunch of fire spells. If you're a frost mage, you do a bunch of frost spells. And arcane mage, do a bunch of arcane damage. So really fun. A lot of different cool time-based spells with mages. They can reverse time, and you can blink through time, and like basically just kind of shoot forward. Classic mage spells. Great class, lots of damage, fun. All right, so rogues, they look cool. Rogues often serve as assassins or scouts, though many are lone wolves as well. Rogues can often sneak around the enemies or attack an opponent from behind to try and finish them off quickly. Rogues are awesome. They're melee damage. There's 3 specs. There's subtlety, which you're basically doing a lot more stealthy stuff. There's assassination, which you're more doing like poisonous stuff and leaving dots on enemies to slowly drain their health down. And then there's outlaw, which is more pirate themed. You can use a little bit bigger weapons, not just daggers, and you can I believe shoot a gun and also grapple at enemies. Rogues are fun, and they wear the leather. And I forgot to go with the mage, or I forgot to tell you with the mage that they wear cloth. So rogues wear leather, and yeah, they're pretty cool. The only problem with rogues, again, like warriors, is you don't really have much of a heal by yourself. So kind of difficult to solo big packs of enemies. But also really fun to just kind of sneak past them if you don't want to fight them. So there you go. All right, so next up we have priests. Priests have 3 specs as well. They also wear cloth, and the 3 specs are 2 healing specs and 1 damage dealing spec. So the damage dealing spec is shadow, and basically you do just a bunch of shadow damage and void damage, and you get to turn into this dark looking demon form. Not a demon form, but like a dark void form, and it makes you kind of like blacked out and looks cool. I wish they would show what void form looks like in this, because I think it looks cool. But our shadow form, it basically a shadow version of your character, and it looks cool. You can make your mounts look like the shadow form too. Priests are awesome. The other 2 specs are healing specs. You got discipline, which basically you're protecting all your allies with shields, and then you got holy, which you're basically healing them back up after they have taken damage. All right, so the next one is warlocks. Also wear cloth. Warlocks, as you can see, summon a bunch of demons. They have a lot of really dark magic, really evil looking, cool. They got 3 specs. You got destruction, which focuses on like casting big spells like giant bolts of spell energy and fire bolts and fire damage. You can cast like big giant fireballs from the sky. They're really cool. And then you got demonology, which focuses more on the demons and summoning lots of imps and other demons like fell guards and giant infernals and other cool, awesome demons. And then you got affliction. So you're just like dotting up everything with curses and magic and slowly just sucking the life out of people. Warlocks cast fire or shadow magic to damage, drain, or curse the enemy. They summon demons as servants. So basically that. Next we have paladins. Paladins are basically warriors, but you can heal. So you got 3 specs with paladins. You got tank, protection paladin, which is this guy right here, big sword, shield, and a mace, and you can basically go in and tank and hit everything and make everything fight you and heal yourself back up. Really powerful tanks. They're cool. I like them. Then you got the healer, the holy paladin, and I believe you can also pretty much look like this. You have a shield, a mace, and you just cast heals on everyone. So if you want to heal, good class to be. And also melee, paladin, retribution. You get a big 2-handed mace or sword or Axe. You do axes on paladins? I think so. I could be wrong. But yeah, you basically have a big two-handed weapon and you just smash things and beat things up and do a lot of holy damage. A lot of fun to play. I play a lot of paladin, fun class, and I love the option that you can do tank, healer, or melee damage, so you can get all of those covered if you need to switch back and forth. It's a great class. I love it. Next is the Druid. So, Druids can shapeshift. All right, so Druids are shapeshifters with an affinity for the planet and the animal kingdoms. Druids can specialize in healing, casting spells at range, or taking on the form of a cat or bear to fight in melee. So Druids are the only class to have 4 different specs. Basically, tank is a bear form. You turn into a big bear, tank stuff. They have feral, which is the cat form, which is kind of like a rogue, like you're ripping stuff apart, making things bleed. You can go stealth and be invisible and just do a lot of little damage here and there, but feral's a lot of fun, and you get to be a cool little cat right there. Then you got Boomkin, or Moonkin form, which you turn into a giant owl-like creature and you shoot laser beams. It's one of the coolest classes, honestly. I wish I would show it here, but yeah, you just turn into a big bird and you shoot giant beams of sun magic and moon magic, and it's a lot of fun. And then they also have Resto, which is another healer. Lots of nature type heals. Next we got Shamans. All right, so Shamans. Druids also wear leather. I keep forgetting to go over everything. Paladins wear plate, and Druids wear leather. Sorry. So with Shamans, they wear mail. Shamans use the power of the elements to enhance their weapon damage or spells. Shamans summon totems in combat, small objects that disable enemies, heal, or cause damage to enemies. So those are the totems that he laid on the ground. Some, like the one in the back, will shoot like a fireball at an enemy. One of them will like make you run faster. Another one will like heal you. So a lot of different totems that do a lot of different things. There's 3 different specs for Shaman. You got a healer who basically uses a bunch of like different water spells to heal you, like throws healing rain on you, basically just drenches you and heals. And then we got a ranged class called Elemental, which you just cast a lot of lightning bolts and fire bolts and a lot of elemental damage, and it's really cool. You summon like big fire elementals to fight next to you. Pretty cool class. And then you have Enhancement, which is melee damage. You basically have 2 big maces in your hand, one-handed with maces, and you just beat the heck out of stuff and do a lot of earth and fire damage, and it's a lot of fun. Next we got Monk, which is my personal favorite. Monks wear leather, and they're known for their skill in hand-to-hand fighting, relying on their fists and feet as much as their weapons. Monks can also specialize in calling upon the restorative power of the mist to heal allies. So, Monk is another one of those cool classes that can tank, heal, and do damage. The tanks are brewmasters. Basically, you get drunk enough to ignore pain, so you just take a lot of damage, and then you basically ignore it and then heal yourself back up. Monks are a lot of fun. I think the tank class is probably the most played in the game. I feel like a lot more people, I think, like Brewmaster over anything else. Yeah, they're great. They're fun. And then you got Windwalker, which is the melee. You basically just punch and kick and melee, and you summon these like celestial tigers and to fight with you, and they're pretty cool. Like he was just doing a bunch of punches and kicks. That's basically what you do. You use weapons, but you don't ever really actually use them. You're mostly just punching and kicking. Mistweaver is what I play. It's a healer, and basically you're healing people with a bunch of mist, and that's basically it. All right. Then we got Demon Hunters, which I cannot show you because this is a starter edition. So you have to reach level 10 to unlock this class. So that's kind of lame, but if you want to be a Demon Hunter, yeah, Demon Hunters are a hero class, which means they start at a high level, which is only level 8 or 9. Demon Hunters are dark outcasts that use forbidden demonic damage to hunt and kill their enemies. They have a tank and a damage dealing, a melee damage. So Demon Hunters can be tanks or melee damage. I wish I could show you. They look really cool. You can only be a blood elf and a night elf though when you're a demon hunter, for lore reasons. But they wear these cool like glaives in their hands and just slice people up and jump around. And they're the only class right now that can actually fly. So if you are more so glide, so if you jump off a cliff, you could just glide down without taking any damage. Great class. And also same with Death Knights, they start at level 10, or you have to get to level 10 to make one. Death Knights are a hero class. So, yeah, so you got to start after you unlock a level 10 class. So Death Knights are a melee class with emphasis on causing diseases and using dark magic. So Death Knights have 3 specs. You get tank, the blood spec, which basically you're just sucking the blood out of like all your enemies and basically restoring yourself doing that. And then there's unholy damage, which a lot of like just death magic and cursing and like summoning ghouls and undead to fight with you. A lot of cool stuff. And then there's a Frost Death Knight, which you're just freezing stuff and doing a lot of cool frost damage. And those use two one-handers or a big two-hander, and then same with an Unholy uses a big two-hander. But that's also a plate-wearing class. They look cool. Also, I kind of wish I could show you both Demon Hunter and Death Knight because they both look really cool. But we'll have to get to that later on for sure. All right, so that is basically all the classes you can be in this game right now. And the next expansion, they're going to introduce a new class called the Evoker. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'll probably make a video when I get PTR access. That'd be great. But yeah. So yeah, these are all the races. So yeah, these are all the classes you can be. Hopefully I kind of gave you a little bit of insight on these classes. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And thanks for watching. Bye.